introduce my instructor from Pacific University, the famed bowmaker, Friend Barnes.
Hello, my name is Friend Barnes. I was born October 17th, 1839 in Rossie, New York. As I grew older, I learned to set type and got a job with the Watertown Daily News. When I was 21, the Civil War began, and I fought for the Union. My friends at the paper presented me with a .38 caliber revolver, and that same gun saved my life one night when I was on guard duty. I know, some have taken to calling me captain. I've even been known to do it myself, and a few of the more colorful journalistic accounts have even placed me at the Battle of Gettysburg. But truth be known, I began and ended the war private, and the hardest battle I ever waged was against typhus from the cot of an army hospital. Little did I know then that two of the soldiers I fought against, brothers Maurice and Will Thompson, would one day become my lifelong friends and two of the most important figures in our country in the development of archery. In later years, we affectionately referred to each other as Johnny Reb and Yank. We were known as the Three Musketeers of archery. After my service was done, I moved to Oberlin, Ohio, and there I learned the trades of watchmaking and jewelry. It was also in Oberlin that I met and married my wife, Martha Bowens, in the winter of 1864. We had 3 children, Helen, Arlington, and Margaret. And then in 1868, we moved to Elgin, Illinois, and I got a job in the watch factory there. We moved on in 1876 to Rochester, Minnesota, and it was there that I founded my first archery club. We also lived in Fargo, North Dakota for a while. Then in 1885, we rode the newly constructed rail line out west. Martha's sister had preceded us coming by covered wagon. In the winter of 1886, I went to work for Albert Feldheimer in his jewelry factory. Our son Arlington was such a promising young man. He's no longer with us. He died of heart failure. He had just returned from a trip to Europe on a Monday, and then he died suddenly the next Wednesday morning. It was a terrible shock. My health broke down. I found I could no longer be confined to sit and work at the bench. I had to find some other means of occupation to make a living. So in 1893, we moved here to Forest Grove, and I began to pursue my youthful passion of making bows. You see, as a boy, I've been enthralled by accounts of battles such as Cressy and Agincourt, where the use of the longbow had proved decisive in the outcome, and in accounts of William the Conqueror and Robin Hood, and they inspired me to begin making my own bows and arrows. Eventually became the focus of my entire life. I see you're admiring my bow. I have a handsome showcase of them over at my shop on First Avenue North. It's just east of Legion Hall between Main and College Way. It's a modest little shop, but it keeps me busy. Now, let me tell you a little bit about these bows. All of them made in Oregon, of Oregon yew, grown high up in the mountains. Oh, what labor they've cost me, but I love my trips into the Cascades. Each fall I go and I secure enough wood to take care of me until the next fall. I select young trees without blemishes between 6 and 8 inches in diameter, and from those I cut logs 3.5 feet in length, and then I split them to a suitable size using sapwood for the back and heartwood for the belly, and then I'll pile them together into a bundle for a pack horse. A single horse can take out enough wood to create 30 bows. I have a secret process for the seasoning of yew so that I can create a completed bow in just 2 years from the growing tree. Our yew is as good or better than the best yew of Spain or Italy, which has been sought from time immemorial by the greatest bow makers. I've sold bows all through America, England, Scotland, Australia, and South Africa. Altogether, I've sold between about 400 and 500 bows. That yew is by far the best wood. It has all the best qualities. Elasticity, lasting power, strength, evenness of action. Now, of course, the best shooting is hardly ever done with the strongest bow. But in those wars of old, the ability to make the most powerful shot, for an archer to penetrate armor or to send the arrow the greatest distance were the means most sought. In fact, the glory of England was built on the skill of its unmatched archers. The best were able to, it's said, to even perforate the strongest armor ever made. And you'll excuse me for a moment, but to speak history for a second, that it was William the Conqueror who brought the use of the longbow to England. And those Norman archers at Hastings, where Harold fell with a shot through the eye, opened up those eyes of the old Saxons. The carrying of the longbow became the badge of the freeman. And as children grew to manhood with daily practice at game or target, so marched the glory of England. That just imagine every man of the country, a skilled archer, practiced and ready at a moment's notice to take the field. How the shafts of those yeomen must have punched the French armor at Grécy or Agincourt. I should have loved to have shot a cloth-yard arrow then, had I not fought at Gettysburg. And oh, look over here. This is from Sherwood Forest, and here's a picture of Robin Hood's grave. And here's one of the abbey from which he shot the arrow. The meanest archer of Robin's band would have put to shame the greatest of our bowmen today. I was Dean of Archery at Pacific University and the founder of the Maurice Thompson Archery Club here in Forest Grove. We founded the club in 1901 and named it after Maurice Thompson, the author of The Witchery of Archery. His brother Will and I often get together and shoot arrows at the golf links in Portland with Dr. Jones. Many young ladies were taking up the sport of archery then, and among our founding members, our founding 15 members, 8 of them were women. That in a photograph from that time, you can see me standing in the center with our members to either side, including Professor Bing Corey and Match Langley. Archery then was as popular as golf is today. The university built target grounds south of Herrick Hall, and enthusiasts came from all over to practice. In my lifetime, I was the only person in the United States building new bows, and my bows won competitions all over the world. Philip Bryant of Boston saw his opponents using a Barnes bow and immediately ordered one for himself. Will Thompson used barn bows exclusively beginning in the 1890s till his death in 1918, and used a Barnes bow to score the highest score ever at a national meetup to that point. I made my last trip into the Cascades in 1912. Before I died at the age of 75 in 1914, I sold my last bow to Dr. J.W. Dowdy. He had just learned archery recently from Will Thompson. Despite having the bow only a few days, he won the national championship in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Thank you.